Welcome to Screen Chat, live from the Media Hub on riotradio.ca. I'm your host, Justin. With me today behind the scenes, we do have Megan. Megan, thank you so much for being here today. As you guys know, Screen Chat is your show all about the latest Marvel movies, DC Comics, stars, adaptations, and much, much more. Today we have a very interesting discussion, and I say interesting because we were talking about a character that doesn't really mean a lot to me versus an actor who I really love. And based off that title card, we're talking all about Sebastian Stan as he is joining the DCU to play Harvey Dent in The Batman 2. So I thought this was a good opportunity to talk some DC. As we see here, Culture Crave says Sebastian Stan will be playing Harvey Dent in The Batman 2. And it's really cool because just to get straight into it, The Batman is one of my favorite DC, projects of all time. And now I know this tweet was from a few months ago, but it has been more confirmed recently by Sebastian Stan himself that this is true. And this is going to be really cool. This was shared to his stylist's Instagram, and this is a little bit of a sneak peek of what he could look like as Two-Face there. So yeah, we do have a lot to talk about from this kind of point of view of who is Harvey Dent to me, who is Sebastian Stan to me, and what does this mean for the Batman 2? So just to give a quick overview, again, I love Batman. Batman is probably my favorite superhero of all time, but just to be honest, I don't really care for Two-Face. Not to say I don't care for the character or maybe the adaptation, but as you'll see later on in the episode, there's really only one Two-Face that I think is like grand old, while the rest of them to me doesn't fall short necessarily, just never really a character that I overly cared about from that kind of point of view where there's other Batman villains that I love a lot more, such as Clayface, the Red Hood, obviously Joker, Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, whichever adaptation you want to pull, even Talia, the Penguin. I'm sure there's more that I'm forgetting about, like Killer Croc as well. It's like Harley Quinn. Like, there's a lot of other Batman villains that I actually love and like. Whereas Harvey Dent isn't a bad villain or bad character, just maybe not my favorite. So I just wanted to really just break down my thoughts on this first before we did anything else. So I think this is a fantastic casting choice, just because I think Sebastian Stan is a phenomenal actor. I'm a big fan of his, especially as Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. And again, as a fan of Batman, I couldn't really tell you who I'd want to play Harvey Dent. But now that we have Sebastian Stan as Harvey Dent, there's no one else who I want to play him in this new adaptation. I'm really excited to see what he's able to bring to the table. He's a very serious actor as well. Like, he's had some really good roles. I know he was in that one Disney Plus series where he was alongside the character of Pamela Anderson, I believe. I know I should have done more research on that, but that is a really good role that he played in that. I'm probably gonna get. I wish Eldon was here. He would probably give me a layup on that exact role. However, with him now playing Harvey Dent, I do think it will be a different approach to his, superhero repertoire, as you will. Going from playing, oh, we could come back to me real quick, but going from playing, Harvey Dent, going from playing the one and only Winter Soldier to Harvey Dent is going to be a very interesting dynamic. And I had to Google this. I was talking about Pam and Tommy, the biography, where he, in that biography, plays Tommy Lee. And then, Pamela Anderson was obviously played by Lily James. So that's a really good representation of, Sebastian Stan in a serious role that is not necessarily serious superhero roles. So I think when you now bring that down to earth, the Batman isn't necessarily a superhero universe. It's more or less like a dark crime universe that just has Batman. And I think that's why this will be a really interesting role, because he's not necessarily playing a supervillain. He's just playing a bad guy. Like, he's playing a villain, like a real life villain that will be thwarted by the Batman. So this overall, I think he fits in really well with that narrative, with that theme. Context, by the way, today my script is on my phone, so I'm not going to be texting. I'm just on reading off my script. But I do think that he really fits that theme well, because we've seen him play different characters other than Bucky Barnes, where he's flourished and has been really good. And I think just from the outside looking in, I think this is really good. But before I go more in depth on what I want to see, who I want to see him paired with, what he's going to bring to the table, I do want to have a discussion about the character Harvey Dent, what he means to me. And we did kind of get a preview, so we'll bring that photo back up. I was a really big fan of Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight. He is obviously played here by Aaron Eckhart, and I think what's really cool about this adaptation is that we got a full character arc in one. Now, he was supposed to be like the hero of the story. He was running for mayor. He was trying to, I guess, really just clean up the streets of Gotham, for lack of better words. I'm not going to go heavily in depth like on Harvey Dent in The Dark Knight, but I do want to talk about his portrayal. And it was really cool to see his development. Like, and the start of the movie, we see him alongside Rachel. He has a really cool scene in the courtroom. He like thwarts a gun. He just seems like he's the hero that, they do say in the movie, he's the hero that the city deserves and that the city needs. And I do think he had such a good start to the movie. It was really cool to see him alongside Batman and Jim Gordon as well, from the good guy's point of view. And I was really happy with his portrayal as like Harvey Dent, I guess the character, not Two-Face, if that makes sense. Obviously, in other adaptations, we see like people compare how good so-and-so was as Batman versus how good they were as Bruce Wayne. I thought he was really good as Harvey Dent, not even getting to Two-Face yet, just really good as Harvey Dent. And of course, that iconic line of, fine, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. This is one of my favorite quotes in just history, not movie history, not whatever, just history. Like, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That is like 10 out of 10. And it was Nolan's brother who wrote that. It wasn't even Christopher Nolan, which I think is hilarious. But as we continue into his development into Two-Face, he eventually would see the death of Rachel, become Two-Face, go rapid. And his scenes, I laugh because his scenes are so insane. Like the way this brother was pulling up on people, flipping coins and just killing them. if it didn't land on heads, was just hilarious. So eventually his character arc would end at the end of the movie where he would die. And it was a really cool scene where Batman like pushes the good side of him, I guess the good side of his face, I should say, pushes that to be the forefront. So yeah, overall, I really like Aaron Eckhart's adaptation of Harvey Dent. And I think that's where this conversation kind of dwells for me, because it's like, besides Aaron Eckhart, I don't really care for Two-Face. Like, he was really cool, I guess, in the 90s animated Batman show. I could not tell you who voices him, because again, I don't really like care too much. Off the top of my head, Lego Two-Face was pretty cool. I feel like I really like that in Lego Batman. And again, like, I'm an O2, so like that's not even me being funny. Like, I grew up playing Lego Batman. I really enjoyed Two-Face in that video game. And then beyond that, I don't really care too much. Like, he's kind of cool in the Arkham games. Could not tell you who voices him, and I liked a lot. I would almost, like, not even to be OD, I think I liked every villain more than I liked Two-Face from those games. So he's a really interesting character, because again, it's I don't want to sound stale, but like, you're asking the wrong guy about Two-Face. But I love talking about the idea of Sebastian Stan playing Two-Face. And that's kind of what we're going to get to now. This is like my expectations / wants and needs. And we're just going to start off with the Batman 2 as a whole and what this means for Sebastian Stan in the Batman 2. Well, off rip, I have high expectations for this movie beyond who is playing Harvey Dent, because The Batman Part 1 is one of my favorite movies of all time. Not comic book movies, just movies, period. I'm a huge comic guy, and I thought this movie was like a comic brought to life. So obviously the second movie has a lot of expectations to be good. I really enjoyed the street level villain. I really enjoyed Paul Dano's Riddler, and I really enjoyed Zoe Kravitz's Selena Kyle, because I don't think they actually call her Catwoman. The Penguin was really good. Colin Farrell, Carmine Falcone was really cool as well. I like the Jim Gordon. Like, it is a really good cast, really good portrayals, really good adaptations. I don't really think I have anything bad to say about any of those performances, and I only have good to say. I could argue that The Batman is a better Batman film than The Dark Knight. I do think The Dark Knight is a better movie. It's my second favorite movie of all time. But I think if only one Batman media live action could exist, I think it would be The Batman for me. And I know that might be like a crazy take. I just think the representation of a Batman comic book finally came to life almost one-to-one, whether it was mannerisms, text dialogue, I guess different scenarios. It was such a great movie that I'm so excited for this one. I think the Batman 2 is going to be even better. And I think that's not an unrealistic expectation, just because why wouldn't it be? It's like it should be better. And I do think that when you take in everything I just said, and you take in maybe the Penguin original series as well, the Batman 2 has to be really good. Like, I don't think this movie is going to fall short by any means. I don't want to have high expectations. Like, I'm wearing a Calgary Flames jersey, and maybe I've had expectations before and we've fallen flat. But I could seriously say that this could be the safest bet. I think if you were to bet on any movie coming out in the next 5 years that wasn't Nolan's Odyssey to be good, I think this is the second safest bet to the Odyssey. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm glazing. That's how good this franchise has been. And now to get the Batman 2, I don't really know the plot. I don't know if Two-Face is going to be the main villain, going to be a side villain. If we're going to see, well, we're going to get more to it on what I want to see, but we might see Harvey and Bruce initially, and then we might see them not. We might see Harvey Dent and Jim Gordon be boys. We might see them not like each other. Like, I don't know what Harvey Dent's going to entail in this movie, but all I know is that he has to become Two-Face. And this goes into my next point now, is just what I want to see between Bruce and Harvey and Batman and Two-Face. Now, first of all, I would not mind it if Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent had a relationship, friendship, peers, whatever you want to call it, that we didn't see in the Batman 1 that's already set in stone. So by the time this movie comes out, it would be kind of cool if it was like, oh man, Bruce Wayne, I haven't seen you since we were in middle school or like high school, even university. It would be cool to see them be peers before this film, just as something different. Now, when I look at other adaptations of these characters, we have seen them work alongside each other. I know I showed The Dark Knight earlier, just showing this animated image here. We know that these guys can do stuff together. And as a big fan of both Robert Pattinson and Sebastian Stan, I would actually really like if this scene got a recreation 1-to-1. I think that'd be kind of funny. But I do think the possibilities aren't quite endless because of the universe. I don't want to say anything stupid. I don't want to say anything off theme. But the possibilities to get this right, like, really high chance they do that. Now, in terms of specifics again, maybe it'd be kind of cool if Batman inadvertently turned Harvey Dent into Two-Face. It'd be kind of cool if, like, maybe he let off an explosion or he was the cause of Dent getting into an accident. And that would be really cool because then Bruce Wayne could be in a position of, damn, Batman, who I think as Batman first, I hurt my friend. And that could be a cool kind of like, does he tell Harvey that he's really Batman? Does he feel bad? Or on the contrary, it could just be one of those ones where Harvey Dent is already onto Batman and already wants to take him down. And then Batman finally like thwarts him, turns him into Two-Face, and now it's all out war. Now there's going to be like killings and shootings and like explosions. That could also be a really cool kind of point of view as well. I don't know how he's going to necessarily fit in terms of power, because we do know that there has to be the Penguin. We do know that, well, the Joker was teased. I don't know if the Joker is going to get released in this movie or if he'll still be teased for part 3. I would really like to see Black Mask as well, especially like if we're going off the deep end. It would be kind of cool if like Harvey Dent and Black Mask somehow met up. That also, like, again, I'm not like wishful thinking here when I say that. That would kind of make sense to how the universe is being built. It's not, I don't want to go out on a limb and a tangent and say, oh my God, it'd be so cool if Harvey Dent became the Green Lantern. That's stupid. But all jokes aside, Harvey Dent doing anything he can as Two-Face to get rid of Batman, and one of them being confiding in the Black Mask himself, that would be kind of cool. I would be down for that. It would be cool to see how Robert Pattinson's Batman deals with a bigger challenge than just the Riddler. And the Riddler was a great villain. He was like a serial killer. He was, I guess, misunderstood, if you will. And it was really cool to see Batman not be able to catch up until the end. So I think when it comes to Two-Face, how does he fit that universe? Like I said, I think he fits it perfectly. Now, would I have necessarily wanted Two-Face? No. However, I do think because of Sebastian Stan's prowess, this now might set us up. We might see I mean, I don't want to necessarily say it because I don't want to put pressure, but we could see an all-time DC villain in this movie. we've seen some impeccable performances in the past. Obviously, the one that sticks out is Heath Ledger's Joker. I'm not saying that Sebastian Stan's Two-Face Harvey Dent is going to be the next Heath Ledger Joker, but I do think we are in a position where we could get a very impactful take on the character, maybe a take that trumps every take before it. And that includes Aaron Eckhart as well. Don't get it twisted. I love Aaron Eckhart's adaptation. It's my favorite. But I'm not going to sit here and hope that Sebastian Stan isn't better. I hope he is better. I hope when it's done, I say, oh my God, this was so good. Even Aaron Eckhart's performance does not come close. That's what I want to be saying when this movie is done. And I don't necessarily think it's going to be a Two-Face show. But I wouldn't mind it if it was a Sebastian Stan show. He is such a good actor. He's like so established now that it's like, why did it take him so long to join DC? But I'm not complaining. I'm glad he joined this and not James Gunn's DC, because James Gunn's DC is just not for me. If you've seen my Superman episode, I had a lot of good things to say about the movie. But after seeing the Lantern trailer, the Supergirl trailer, I don't think I'd want Sebastian Stan in that kind of universe, to be honest. But I think he fits Matt Reeves' universe to a T. And I think that's more or less my take. Don't necessarily want to see Two-Face, but I want to see Sebastian Stan. And I think when it's all said and done, this is going to be one of the better portrayals from a DC villain in modern times, maybe even all time. Again, I'm balling it out right now. I think this could be an all-time performance. Not putting pressure on him, but I just think he's that good of an actor that this would be it. And I think that's pretty much all. Like, I don't know much about the Batman 2 yet. We don't really know what the entire plot line would be. If I did, I would probably have done more of a lengthy episode on the movie versus the character. However, this is big news to me because I love the Batman, and I really loved the idea of Robert Pattinson's Batman getting to share the screen with Sebastian Stan in any way, shape, or form, this shape being Two-Face. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I know it was a shorter episode, but I just wanted to pounce on the news. But before we go, we do actually have maybe even bigger news for Screen Chat fans out there. So we have some lore to go through quickly. Now, if you guys are original OG fans of Screen Chat, you obviously know F&F Friday. You know the vibes, we outside. But the real ones know where that started, and that started from the 757, bro. If you know, you know. But all jokes aside, the 757 represents a lot of, like, some of my best friends, honestly, bro. Like, shout out to Floyd, Rama, Luai, Abdul, Day, Dilly, Junior. Like, I mean, I can't. I was gonna troll, but obviously Omar, you're in that as well. Like, I can't say what I wanted to say about Omar because that would be too dr, as Rama would say. And even Makai as well. Shout out Makai, shout out Harrison, shout out Nate, just cause shout out Nate. There's so many of y'all that actually watched the episodes live, and that did mean a lot to me. And whether when I think of the 757, whether it's banters on pro clubs, I guess going to Zaxby's, as you guys would send to the chat, kick a 10K, if you know, even breaking into William and Mary, that was a thing that Dylan had done. And yeah, shout out Gabe as well for facilitating that. I wouldn't really allow Dilly, I'm not gonna lie. Shout out Ramel as well, even though he's in Liverpool, he's also in the chat. Shout out Emilio as well. It's like, these are guys that have been watching and following the podcast since like day one, before day one, really. I feel like the 757, you guys have been there since before I even started this podcast. So knowing that the group chat, the Dons, is back and active, and man, you're talking about linking up and playing pro clubs and banters, and Luai's obviously on his DR, and like Abdul, I don't know like what Abdul's been sending recently, dude. You're kind of on a different path, don't know what that's all about. Seeing Floyd with his DR in the chat as well, talking about like, Makai, why are you now like at Bethel as some athletic director? It's just so nice to have the 757 boys back in the chat, and I think it could not be a Screen Chat without acknowledging that, just because again, you guys have seen majority of the episodes, you guys have been featured. Shout out to Daylon and Harrison. You guys, we played that video for you guys that one time after you guys did it 2 times and kicked 10K like that was pretty peak. So that is like just as big news to me as Sebastian Stan. So thank you guys so much for always supporting and tuning in. I'm gonna clip this for you guys. You guys can make fun of me in the chat all you want. I don't really care. I don't think I'm missing anyone else. Shout out Nick though on Dukes. I would feel so bad if I send this and I am forgetting somebody. I might low key have to like fact check myself here, because I would feel bad. But one thing that is really cool, though, that I do bring up the 757 is that it just reminded me of like when it was like peak times in the chat, peak times playing FIFA, peak times even doing the pod, you know. Shout out to the twins as well. I think they're still in the chat. Shout out to them. Oh yeah, Rowan, of course. You know, as everyone in my life says, like, I'm their tribal chief, bro. I couldn't forget about my right-hand man, main event Mez. You're also still in the chat playing pro club. So I don't know why you be cussing all the time on the live, but shout out to you, Mez. Mason as well. Have not talked to you in a brick, but I hope you're doing well. But yeah, man, it's really nice knowing that like the Dons are back playing pro clubs and the 757 is back. So you already know the vibes, guys. Appreciate y'all. It's Thursday, but in our hearts for y'all, it could still be FNF Friday. We outside, you know the vibes. That's gonna do it for us today on Screen Chat. Megan, thank you so much for teching today. We could not have done it without you. Like I said, shorter episode just because I don't really know what the Batman 2 is going to entail, but I do know it's going to have Sebastian Stan as Two-Face, as Harvey Dent, and I could not be more excited for that. So that's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We have about 4 or 5 games left in the regular season. I hope the Flames lose every one of them. Mission McKenna is still on. Get in. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. This has been Screen Chat. I've been Justin, live from the Media Hub on RiotRadio.ca.